There you go.
Okay, well, welcome to the what is it? October 4th, 2022 session of TangerineSDR and Hamside Technical Session. My name is Dave, KV0S, and this week I've been doing a few projects, some 3D printing and cleaning up and organizing some of my software machines and getting ready to do some coding. So that's about it for me. Next on the list is Nathaniel, W2NAF. Go ahead, Nathaniel.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Things are going well, just super duper busy. I'm now in the process of taking the 2 white papers that we sent to the National Academy of Sciences, and I'm combining them into a single paper. And I think I'm going to try to publish it as a review paper in the Frontiers journal for the special issue pertaining to the white papers. So I've been working on that this weekend. Let's see, I submitted 1 grant to ARDC to support the Hamside workshop this weekend. And so that one's in. I still need to write the one for the NSF. I'm working with Jonathan Rizzo on a grant proposal for the VLF project. Just a lot of things, very, very busy. But I think it's moving along. W2NAF, back to Nat.
Yes, Nathaniel, you're always busy. And next on the list is Chung. Chung, are you there? Sorry,
Hello.
Kung.
Hello, everyone. Oh, it's good. It was nice seeing some of you at TAPA DCC in person. Yeah, ever since that conference, I've been quite busy with schoolwork. Yeah, it's my senior year now, and I gotta pick my project, my capstone project, and focus on it. So I've been working on that for the past few weeks. Yeah, I haven't got a lot of progress on the Tangerine SDR. I've been mainly looking at the Verilog book that somebody shared with
Tom.
his name. Yeah, somebody shared it with me, and yeah, I've been looking through that to learn more about Verilog, and that's pretty much it for me. Back to the net.
Okay, very good. And next on the list is Bill Engelke. Go ahead, Bill.
AB4AJ here, and just got back from spending the last week in Portugal at the Coast Bar iSWAT conference, and talked up our personal space weather station quite a bit. And interestingly enough, got with some colleagues from NOAA who they have a rolling space weather station in an RV, who are interested in obtaining some of our magnetometers as soon as they are available. They said they'll probably go around and plant these at a number of schools and then just come around and plug into them when their rolling space weather station is in town, and some things like this. So I'm anxious to hear how close we are to being able to sell these things, because it seems like we're so close. We've got a bunch of places who are chomping at the bit to be able to get their hands on some of these magnetometers, and I know we're pretty close. I'd love to hear more details about that. So anyway, that was my week. I just got back at 1 o'clock in the morning, night before last, and I'm still a little bit fuzzy from jet lag. So anyway, back to net.
Well, Bill, last weekend we had a discussion, or last Monday we had a discussion about it. It looks, Scotty's here and he'll give an update on this, but it looks like we're really close to sending the magnetometer boards to Bruce to start putting them on sale. And the question was, who's going to suck up all the data that these produce? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm looking for, I mean, what I have right now is 1 beta tester.
Okay.
If somebody is ready to start up uploading data, we're ready to receive it. I mean,
Okay,
the main thing is that I asked that we use an uploader program that I have, which what it does is it establishes one observation per day. So we're looking at how to break up the data from the grape into observations as well. Right now, myself and one beta tester, we're just uploading an entire, months at a time of spectrum data, which runs into gigabytes. And so when somebody goes to download that, needless to say, the system goes to sleep for a while trying to zip it and download it to you. So we're looking at ways of making the observations into a reasonable size so that they don't overwhelm the system and people's download capability once people try to download it. Anyway, but the system's up and running, and I had them to put 10 terabytes of space out there that's just ready to receive data. So whatever.
okay, well, very good.
We're also working on software that's going to allow us to online as part of the website produce graphs and plots of spectrum data and magnetometer data. I told them today we also need to be able to suck in the data from the person's choice of USGS magnetometers to be able to compare with their own and maybe even get some GOES satellite data and plot it together. But anyway, step one at a time, one thing at a time. So
Well, we're getting close. We're really close. So there'll be a lot of people knocking on your door very shortly.
good.
And we
Next,
also, I'm sorry, we also have to answer some questions about the data format, specifically if we are comparing things with USGS and with intermagnet, those are 1 minute values over a 24-hour period. What we're doing is taking 1 per second, and that's our data file. So how are we going to, what is the format we're going to use to upload to Bill's system?
well, Jules, you're the next person on the list. So why don't you give your report and ask your questions?
Well, that's the question. The report is that I mentioned to Scotty last week, I was going to order 50 of the 1.5 inch caps, plug spigot caps for the housing, and was going to drill those out and send them off. They just came in today, so I'll start doing that. Hopefully we'll be able to get them off this next week. I just finishing recovery from cataract surgery on last Thursday, and fortunately that went well. So again, the only question I had was regarding, at some point somebody's gonna have to decide on the data format.
Oh,
Back to Nat.
okay. Next on the list is David Mcgarr, N1HAC. Go ahead, David.
Good evening, everyone on net. Very busy these days. Lots of Antarctic activity. We have the South Pole technician and actually 2 different technicians coming next week to get briefed on some of our equipment. So I've got some things to get ready. And just other than that, watching the leaves turn. It's very pretty here right now. Back to net.
Very good. And next on the list is James Wolford, KG4 DSD. Go ahead.
Evening, Dave and the group. Not much to report here. It's turned to fall weather around here and it's kind of nice, but other than that, not much going on. Back to the net.
Okay. Next on the list is David W. And I think he's new to the net. David, you want to make a comment?
Well, I'm not new to the net. It's Kilo Echo 5 Delta Papa Zulu. I didn't put my call sign in there for some reason. But anyway, I too am very interested in one of the magnetometers, maybe even 2. And so that's one of the reasons I checked in this month, is just to see how things were progressing because I'm in a really good spot for the 2024 eclipse. And I just think mixing, trying to get as much data in before then would be really good. Anyway, I don't have anything else to report, so I will turn it back to Net. This is Kilo Echo 5 Delta Papa Zulu.
Very good. Next on the list is Jim, K4 BSE. Go ahead, Jim. Mike. Your mic's muted.
Sorry about that. I wondered what was going on. Good evening, all. I haven't done much in the way of ham radio recently. I have been continuing to watch the Grape One and anxious to get the magnetometer. We've had a couple of very interesting days in the last week on the space weather front, at least as observed by my Grape One. And I meant to post these and see what other people are seeing. I haven't even had a chance to look at the reflection a few days though, so this may be old news that people have been discussing. But on the 30th, I had a very strange quiet period of about 12 hours where not much of anything was happening, such that I started looking through my equipment to see if I had a problem. I couldn't find anything wrong. And sure enough, early on the 31st, it started working. Normally, I should say 10/1, not September 31st. Everything started operating as I would expect it again, but things were remarkably quiet for about 12 hours. But on the 27th, things went really wild, and my Grape One plot went off scale 4 times during that day or during that night. And even though things are normally pretty quiet during the day, thanks to the D-layer, I could see some things happening even then. So that's about all I have. Back to Ned.
Okay, very good. And let's see. Next on the list would be Joe, W7LUX. Joe, are you still there?
I sure am. And yes, I'm seeing things happening both on the sun and here on Earth weather-wise. And let me share my my screen. We had a small tornado touch down about 30 miles west of here. And so seeing as I'm involved with ARAS, kind of busy day today, picking up the pieces, close to a dozen structures were damaged or severely damaged. So anyway, it's that kind of thing. Here goes a share screen if I can figure out how to do it. Okay. What suggest, so what do I click on here?
Nathaniel?
I've got,
It should just be the green share screen button at the bottom.
yeah, but that's what I thought.
And then once you do that, you have to press the next one that says share your desktop.
Okay. I mean like this.
Yep, there you go.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got
It's a
people over here.
two-step process.
Oh, okay. I've got people over here and I need to move that somehow. Anyway, on the October 1st, we had a pretty good solar M-class, a very strong M-class flare. And I think that was this one right here at 2000 on the 1st. And then if I can put this on top. No, it doesn't want to come on top. Oh, if I move this over a little bit. Here we go. And then the next day at 2000, we had another one. That's pretty strong response for me. I rarely see that much of a loss in the signal strength. And that one corresponds to the 2000 strong M-class flare here. So not only on the sun, but boy, we've had some pretty serious rain today. And like I say, a small tornado about 30 miles west of here over near Williams. And so that's what I have to offer. Back to you there, Dave, if I can figure out how to unshare. How do I unshare? Stop share. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Thanks, Joe. And next on the list is Jonathan, KC3 EEY. Go ahead, Jonathan. I see you have a picture today.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I have my computer set up in my new place where the camera is actually facing me this time, and not facing some shelves that had storage on them. But anyway, it's been a very busy week. I've been involved in quite a lot of VLF stuff, which is very, very, very good. I was able to collect some more Whistler events with the updated VLFRX Tools software, which is nice. The new version of VT Event seems to be working rather well. I am also in the process of doing a budget and working on a statement of work for the project with Nathaniel and Georgia Tech for getting together a VLF receiver network. So that's also in the works. And last but not least, the hard drive in my file server started giving errors, so it's time to back up. So other than that, that's all I have. Back to the net.
Okay. And let's see. We've talked to Jules. Michael, AC0G. You have any comments?
Good evening, everybody. Great to be here and hear everybody. I haven't been doing too much in the ham radio world. I just have my grape receiver running. Noticed something weird happened 2 days ago. Suddenly the frequency jumped 5 hertz. So I think I have to go check and make sure I've got the frequency stabilization signal still governing the radio. I'm using a not a grape. I'm using a RSP DX that's governed by one of the Leo Bodnar discipline oscillators. So otherwise, I'm running down an astronomy rabbit hole. I'm trying to get some electronic sensors at the back end of my telescopes. And so another interesting little project. Back to net.
Well, fine business. And I do have a report from Tom McDermott. He sent me an email that his Starlink is still down for another week, and he would not be attending tonight. But he and I have had a couple of emails back and forth this week related to Open HPSDR Verilog code. So anyway, next on the list is Scotty, W2 DFI. Go ahead, Scotty.
Roger. Well, Bill, here in the background is 500 magnetometer boards, all assembled and tested. And today was shipping day. Everything went out. Everybody should get their stuff by Thursday or Friday this week. So Jules, I sent you a kit. Nathaniel, I sent Kongs, I sent yours to Nathaniel. And Dave, one to you, and one to, you can tell Tom one is on the way to him, and one to John.
Okay.
Acker. So
That's great news, Scotty.
so long time coming, but
I think Kung's going to be camping out in LSC 235 where the packages get delivered for the rest of the week.
yeah,
Let's go.
it comes on Friday. FedEx.
He'll be there.
I'll send you the tracking number, and you can put it on your phone to get 5-minute updates.
Great.
That's awesome.
Now you
And-
just
and-
need to give him permission to use that for his project.
Oh yeah. The
I'm not the one that makes those decisions.
Oh,
So
okay.
It's
Oh,
not
darn.
like I can do that. And
Well,
I'm not
it
sure.
does sound like a good senior project to me.
I agree. Although
does.
they do have a requirement here that all the senior projects have to have some mechanical component to it, like
Oh,
something.
Well, we need a new case.
Yeah.
He can design that.
What's that?
We needed a case for it. He can design the enclosure.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, but unfortunately, I already picked my my project
Oh,
with my
okay.
teammates. Yeah.
Well, so, we have some extra IO. You can just hook a motor up and spin a wheel or something, make it mechanical. Or like that guy at the expo fair that he programmed an FPGA to solve a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, yes.
And believe me, the FPGA programming, I do not think was the hardest part of that project.
Oh,
Because he could put a cube in and it actually had to hold the cube and be able to rotate in 3 axes. And it was something to behold. I can tell you, when he fired the thing off and it just starts flipping the cube in all directions. And there you go, it's done. This is amazing. So I don't know if we have enough extra IO for that, but you could work on something like that. That'd be mechanical.
That sounds fun.
And as far as I shipped off the 250 sets of tested boards, all packaged up to the Tapper store today. So as soon as we get enough rudimentary information together for a manual, we should be able to start selling them almost any time. And I think, Nathaniel, you were worried a little bit about jumping the gun. I think we need to worry a little bit about releasing the hardware too soon before we're ready. And so really, I wanted to put the software configuration in an appendix. So Bill, if you got a loader that you want the people to use, we need to have a web page with all of the information on it that they can go to download all the pieces that they need. So I'll be bugging you for that. And
It sounds like both of you might be in a good position to get all of this pulled together.
yeah, because
Yeah,
we'd like
'cause
to do it as soon as we can. And if people are chomping at the bit to buy them, I just don't want to sell something to somebody to have a doorstop. We got to be able to use it. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I got an email from the guy from NOAA. They're interested in as soon as we have something ready to go, they'll incorporate it into their traveling space weather RV.
well, do they have guys that can solder? Or are they going to need to have assembled and tested units?
We didn't get into that level of detail, but I just got to find out. I mean, yeah, there is some soldering involved. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, put it this way: the guy who the RV is not a stock RV. It has a great big piece on top that slides back to reveal a giant telescope and all this stuff. I mean, this is a custom built lab on rolling lab, and there's got to be people on the team that have serious chops when it comes to building stuff.
I'm just curious because if they don't want to solder it, we do have plans to make an assembled and tested unit available, but it's not going to be that inexpensive and it's not going to be easy because we're not really planning on a high volume of built units. So, I mean, if they need 5 or 10, that might work, but if they want 100, then that's going to be problematic.
I can't say on that, but I don't think cost is going to be the main deciding factor.
Well, and being able to get them might be the deciding factor, and we'll work with them to figure out what they need. So we can make it happen. It's just that we have to have a little bit. We have to know what they need.
Yeah,
so.
I'll contact the guy and find out what his requirements are in more detail.
Okay, sounds good.
Scotty,
This is a group that's based out of Boulder, Colorado. Interestingly enough. So,
Jim.
Scotty, do you need any more kind of manual labor to help get the instructions together?
Not right yet, but I certainly will need proofreaders and suggestions for how to improve it because it's going to be a swag at first. And then where I'm really going to need the help is getting together the software. And what I'd like to have is a procedure that we could follow. And I'm going to need beta testers to actually take the instructions and follow them and see if they actually work. Because that's going to be very important that the users don't get to number 3 and then it craters and they can't figure out what to do.
I'll volunteer for that.
Okay.
I can maybe help some with proofreading and ball and victim.
I'd be willing to help on that too.
Okay, good.
And I probably need to supply some verbiage on if the person who's putting the magnetometer up together wants to participate in uploading data to the central system, we probably need to have something for them to follow on that. Although we do have some instructions on the website, they're far from complete and usable by anybody at this point.
Yeah, so that was one of the questions we had. Is there going to be any kind of user authentication? Are they going to have an account, or how we?
Yeah, they have to have an account, sure. But it's something you can set up by yourself in about 2 minutes.
Okay, so that's a self-serve type thing. It doesn't wait for somebody over there to set it up for them.
No, you sign up and provide an email address, and it sends you an email to verify that you have a valid email address. And then from then on, you can sign on, and it's fairly straightforward to start uploading.
Okay, because that's what they're going to need when they get their hardware, plug it all together. Then what do I do now? Where do I send the data? How do I log in? What do I do?
Right, yeah.
And Jules, are you going to have some instructions for the remote end? So we can just paste those two together and have a full manual, hopefully.
Am I unmuted? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, my screen keeps popping in and out. Well, we've got, Hyman has a set of drawings and so on that we did some time ago that describe the old, assembly of the magnetometer, but we can pretty well modify that. They added a couple of photos to it to show the way that the boards slide in and the foam plug that keeps it in place. And of course, we'll have now the other thing is who's going to buy the connectors, a special connector. If you're going to be selling those, somebody's got to be ordering those as well.
Yeah, that you talk about the waterproof bulkhead connector.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Tapper will do that if we get parts of this together.
So
together with the plugs.
I'll have 50 of the plugs ready this week. So that and the connector are really the major parts.
Yeah.
The rest of it you can buy.
So where did you order the plug from?
Some online hardware place that just had a good price on them.
Oh, okay, so not any specific.
I can send you the information on it.
Yeah, please do, and then because I'll go ahead and buy the remaining ones. And
yep.
Well, I ordered the waterproof the waterproof Ethernet style connector on Amazon.
Yes, you can get it on Amazon. Yeah, you can get it directly on Amazon. Yep.
Yeah,
and they have multiple different ones available. In fact,
right, and that's the thing is that the part number that you sent me previously, Jules, is the one you used, right?
Yes.
Because I want to make sure they're all the same. Because I want to make sure they fit in the hole and can be glued down and all that. And we don't get something that's a little off,
Right. There's only one that actually works.
Right. So that'd be the best one to get.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, if you could send me that again, that would help me because
Sure.
I have to go back and dig through the emails. Okay, so I'm done, Dave. If I didn't take over or out of turn or something here.
Oh,
I'm the
well,
last one.
yep, you're the last one, so we're open for general discussion.
I have a question for Nathaniel.
Yes.
Some time back, there was a problem getting the grape data, receiving the grape data. There were holes in the collection system. Has that been solved?
I don't know. I'd have to talk to Christina about that.
Okay, so we should be still backing up the data.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
And then I think what we should do is I think we should focus right now on getting the data the magnetometer data working with Bill's system. And then once we have the magnetometer data going, then we should start looking at transitioning the GREEP to that system as well.
So Bill, do you have a magnetometer setup? I mean, for the Tapper ones? Do you have the Rev D one?
I have like one of the very first prototypes that you sent me. That's what I'm running.
Okay, I should probably send you the latest one, the production one.
I probably need a new one with all the bells and whistles to make sure that I've got, something that's compatible with what we're going to be sending out.
Yeah, I just think no, I don't think the address changed. So I think it'll still work. It'll just be physically you'll be physically able to mount it in the pipe because the connector is rotated. And anyway, it'd be better if you have a production one to use. So I'll send you one. Is one going to be enough?
Oh, I think so.
It's a set of boards. So, okay.
Does it require is there something different about the part that plugs into the Raspberry Pi?
No,
That's the same.
no. It's just you have to solder it on the 40-pin header. But we've taken the plastic headers for the PNI module and deleted them on the local side. So now you can get to both sides of the header. So it's much easier to solder it in.
Well, I'm just thinking, can I use my existing the board that plugs into the Raspberry Pi? Can I use the one I already have and just put in a new downhole instrument?
I believe you can. It'd be better to try to swap them out, though. I mean,
the other thing, Bill, is each of the boards seem to have different I2C addresses.
Yeah,
So
I guess it depends on
you
which
do
one
need to
you're using.
test them with the I2C detect before you.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is too that the new ones do not have a local temperature sensor. So if you're trying to read that won't work.
No, I don't pay any attention to that.
Okay. But Dave, I think the remote temperature sensor and the PNI have the same addresses that the Rev D had. Now they may not have
Yes.
the same addresses as the very early one that Bill
No,
had.
they didn't have the one before that.
Yeah, they did change from the original.
So you just have to be the best thing to do is to look and see what you have and then
Yeah.
put them in.
And I don't have any PNI boards at all. So you have to pull the PNI module off of yours and use it. And that, of course, doesn't change. It just unplugs from the remote one and plugs right on the new remote one.
Yep.
The PNI daughter card.
Okay.
The RM3100, the RM3100.
The RM3100.
boards, yeah.
Right, the little square board that has the actual sensor on it.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
oh, by the way, I got into this magnetometer discussion with a bunch of people, and they say, "Oh, we've got some magnetometers we got from so and so, and we put it down 2 meters." And I thought, okay, 2 meters, that is 6 feet. I mean, sure, you could do that, but it requires an auger. I mean, I can't do it with the post hole digger that I have.
No.
But this is only a 1.5-inch pipe, so you could do it with a garden auger if you can get an extension for it.
As long as you don't-
if you can do it 6 feet deep.
As long as the soil isn't rocky.
Yeah,
Yes.
obviously. I mean, we'll send people out a little package of C4 that can blast down into the
Yeah.
bedrock.
I need that for my new house. My electrician decided that we need a 3/4 inch 10-foot ground rod at each sub panel in my house. And
Oh my goodness.
there's no way you're driving a 10-foot ground rod in out there. You get between 2 and 4 feet, and then you hit rock. So I need some C4 on the end of that ground rod to blast my way through the rock.
Or a drill.
Or a
I
big
mean,
drill.
a
yeah.
big drill.
So Bill, what part of the country are they going down 6 feet?
I can't tell you. I don't know.
You said they
Okay.
were from Kansas, weren't they? or Colorado?
Boulder, Colorado, but I
Oh,
don't know if they were talking about what they were mounting in the local area there. Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't get that.
in the alluvial plain, they could do it, but not in the
Don't
mountains.
you have water at 6 feet?
Well, yeah, but you got a pipe. It's sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have water at 6 feet here.
Well, if you really want to do it, if you really want to see what goes on, then you'd basically bore a hole, put your temperature sensor down there and log the temperature over a 2 or 3 day period and see what the variation is. You know, you might find at 3 feet, you're fine. You're still, as long as you keep it under 1 degree C variation, plus or minus half, for a 24-hour period, you're going to get a good record.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the idea to get down below 6 feet is get below the frost line. But as you say, a lot of us don't have that
Yeah.
luxury.
Well, not only that, but the very, very few places the frost line goes that deep. I can provide you with a engineering study, civil engineering study for the Northeast that was done probably about 15, 20 years ago, but it did frost depth surveys over the entire Northeast, I think actually going out as far as the Midwest. And it's quite good. It indicates that depending upon ground cover, for example, you may have a difference of 1 or 2 feet in terms of frost depth just because of the ground cover. So you
Yeah.
really have to understand what your terrain is and, you know, and what you're working with.
Yeah, well, global warming has helped that here, but we used to have the frost get down quite deep. We've
Yeah,
had
we don't have
winters
we
with
don't have
no
a frost
snow
line
and
here.
minus 20.
Yeah.
So
We don't have a frost line here. There's no frost. But you know, this is the deep south too. I mean, the main problem I have is with it getting too hot. If I mount my magnetometer in an area, have it down 3 feet, but as an area gets sun all afternoon, the temperature will go up even 3 feet down. I found that it made a trash out of. I had 2 magnetometers, and one was consistent readings, and the other was all over the place. And I realized the one that's all over the place gets afternoon sun.
Where was it? How deep was it?
3 feet.
Okay. And what kind of soil do you have? Just alluvial soil?
Mostly, well, it's a mixture of sand and clay.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know how you figure this out without actually trying it. Like you said, put an instrument down there and then measure the temperature and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. That lets you know what's going on. What was the temperature variation? I'm just curious of that one that was moving around.
I can't tell you the exact temperature variation, but without going back and look at my records, it was like 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago. So, but
Okay, I was just wondering whether it was more than 1 degree C or.
I'm sure it was quite a bit
okay.
more than that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
all right.
the sun here is ferocious in the afternoon.
Hmm. And in the shade is another another parameter we probably want to
Yeah, I mean,
mention if
yes,
possible.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can put your magnetometer in a place that's shady all day, you're ahead of the game.
Yep.
Yep.
So that
That's a
should go into
bush
the
over each
recommendations.
magnetometer. Make it or plant a tree.
Well, then you don't want the tree roots getting into it. So maybe a berry bush, then you can harvest some berries in the summer.
Well, I remember that somebody made the suggestion that there are these styrofoam caps that you can get to go over a hose bib
Mhm.
and put that over it to try and keep the sun off of it. But I don't know how well it would work, but it's certainly worth a try.
I mean, I built an insulated box with 6-inch foam walls, 7-inch foam walls rather, and with a 4-inch by 4-inch by 4-inch cavity inside, and used a small heater and just left that thing out in the sun for a couple of months. And by raising the internal temperature, and it's within the magnetometer rating, to about 30 38C, actually 42C, excuse me. I was able to keep that constant within plus or minus half C over several months. It took about 1.5 watts input to the heater. But you know, as an alternative, if you can't bury the darn thing, there's a possibility of using an above ground insulated oven that will still hold the temperature, but at a higher, basically it's higher than your local ambient. The highest local ambient, and it'll keep that very nicely.
Yeah, it occurred to me the temperatures, the weather is so hot here that maybe what I need is a thermoelectric cooler
There you
on
go.
the top. So it's an idea. Not a good idea, but an idea.
Yeah, basically just the thermoelectric heat pump itself, in using it both the heating and cooling function with direction of current flow, could maintain the temperature whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Not very efficient, but it does work.
To like this, that phone call was from my RV lot that says our RV trailer has a light on it, which is interesting since the house battery is sitting here behind me in the house in the garage. There's no power at all in the trailer, and I'm going like, okay, maybe I got something special going on. There's another battery that I don't know about.
Or somebody wondering where they shouldn't.
Somebody being in where they shouldn't, which means they must have brought their own battery because, well, the woman there thought it might have been a solar light, but we're such new RV neophytes. I don't know that there's a solar light over the doorway at all anyway. So it's unless maybe the people before us added it. So now we got to go out and check it out.
So how do you like your RV?
I tell you what, we bought the RV in, let's see, what month is it? We bought it in August. And we took it out of the storage area it was in, and we hauled it 3 miles east to a different storage area and parked it and left it. So I don't know about how I like it because I've hauled it 3 miles, and it was, let's just say it was exciting. Because the GVRW of the trailer is actually more than my truck is rated to tow. But it's not GVRW because there's nothing in it. Okay, the water tanks are empty, you know, everything is empty and there's no stuff in it. So it really weighs under the limit that my truck can tow. And we have an anti-sway tow hitch with the extra bars on it to help keep it stable. But since we were only going 3 miles, we didn't even hook those up. So it was okay. I mean, we could do it, but I don't think I want to be going 70 on the freeway with that thing behind me, because the GVW is 10,750 pounds and the truck's rated at 9,900.
Oops.
And I think that truck rating is optimistic. So it'll be interesting because the place that we're storing it to get an inexpensive rate, it's about 40 miles away from here. So when it comes time to install it in the yard and live in it, a lot of things have to happen before that happens. It's going to be an exciting trip across town.
You're going to need a bigger truck if you're going to take
Yes.
it on any trips.
But that's the thing is, I have no desire to take it on any trips. This is a one trip, move to the place, live in it for 6 months, and then sell it because it's way too big for a weekender. No way.
Okay.
It's a 38-footer. So it's like, this is a drive it somewhere and park it and stay for a long time kind of trailer.
Okay.
And we bought a big one like that because we're really going to have to, if we sell this house soon, we're going to have someplace to live, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
So we're going to tough it out in the trailer. And I got a permit from the city to actually live in the trailer on the new house lot while they're building it. So I got up to a year and then up to a second year renewal if I need it.
You need a
Oh, I
permit
think
for
it's
that?
really nice that the city gave you that permission. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the cool thing is we're going to be like 30 feet away from the house. So I was thinking of putting a camera on the roof of the trailer and just having it take a picture once a day
Mhm.
and then just making a video out of it when the whole thing's done and watch the house just kind of build itself. Or maybe once per hour would be more fun, but still it would be, to make a longer movie that way. But so far, the housing market is tanked so bad, we haven't had any offers on the house, so
Mm.
that's until that happens, it's not really much of a concern. But the thing is, you could get an offer any day and they can want you out in 30 to 60 days, and then where do you go? Because rents are sky high, places are really hard to find here in Phoenix. So you really want to have a place to go. So this takes the stress out of not knowing where you're going to live next month if an offer were to come in. And you don't want to put a onus on a new owner to say, oh, you got to give us, 6 months lease back. That could kill most deals. So we'll see. But the bench you see behind me is in the house. So once that goes away, I'm not going to have anything like that in the trailer to work on. It's space to work on things. So you got to get that all done, get the hardware part done. So
What are you doing for septic? Are you putting that in first and then using the trailer into that, or?
septic is supposed to be, the digging's supposed to start next week.
Okay.
So so we'll have, the water's already in. The power, the pad for, I get my own transformer.
Ooh.
Off the pole because it's 600 feet away. So I
Okay.
decided that I didn't really want to have 200 amp service run over 600 feet of wires. It'd be like 3,000 circular mills type cable.
Yeah.
And so they're running. I think they're running 440 volts. No, 4 kV.
Probably running more closer to a couple of thousand volts.
4.1 kV.
Yeah.
They're running up the hill to the transformer next to the garage, and then we're getting 600 amp service.
Right.
Because I want to plan for 2 electric car charging ports.
Mhm.
So, and one fast charger will take most of that 600 amps. So you got to be ready for that. So that is the kind of a hold up because they have to get the service entrance mounted on a wall that is not there yet.
Mm.
So they got to put that piece of wall in, then they put the SES up, then they set the transformer and pull the cables. Then they say, okay, the power company says, okay, it's all yours now. We don't have any more regulation on that. So now our electrician has to hook up something that allows us to connect in because our 600 amp SES doesn't have any user type breakers.
Right.
They're all meant to drive sub panels. We have no walls to put sub panels on, and you can't lay them on the ground. So let's figure something out to do that. And then of course the water I can get with a hose from anywhere. So that's not much of a big deal. But the septic has a clean out right in the backside of the property, right next to where the RV is going to be. And it didn't happen by accident, of course, but those pipes have all been buried. They're all in place. So all we have to do is get the other end where it goes into the septic tank. We have to get the septic all finished. And then we'll be, 2 out of the 3, then we'll have to worry about the electricity. So.
Well, Scotty, you said something about a fast charger. If you're talking about a fast charger like a Tesla supercharger, you need 3-phase service for that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think probably what you're going to want, if you're going to charge 2 electric cars, what you need is two 50 amp circuits.
Right. Well, I have the Fiat 500e, so I need it only takes about a 40 amp service, and I've got a what's it called? It's an electric charger that basically is just a switcher. So you bring 220 in, and the charger's in the car, and it's a 24 kilowatt charger, I think. No, I'm sorry, 6 kilowatt charger is what's built in, and that's as fast as you can charge that car. So that's it for that.
Well, but you're planning for the future. You're planning for the future.
Right.
And if you want to, you charge 2 electric cars, the most you're going to use between the both of them is 20 kilowatts.
Right.
Okay. Why is that?
Because you're going to have, each car is going to pull 10 kilowatts. Typically that's what you have, and that's the most you can charge a Tesla at, for example.
So, but unless you put a supercharger in, but that's not going to happen in a residential house.
Right. A supercharger requires 3-phase service, and it also costs about $100,000 for the charger.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're looking at the new VW bus electric, And I don't know how fast the charging goes on that. I don't know anything about the charging because they don't, well, they are making them. They're for sale in Norway, I think, but not here in the US yet, not
Yeah.
until next year.
Yeah, all you're gonna need is for that is a 50 amp circuit, 220 volts.
Yeah, which we're gonna have. So we're gonna have one on
Yeah.
either side of the garage, so you can plug 2 cars in.
Yeah, because I have 400 amp service and I can charge 2 electric vehicles at my house.
Okay. Anyway, I wanted to 400 amp, 600 amp service because we're gonna have 7 air conditioners. Now, that may seem extravagant, but a lot of them are little split pack units that are not, they're single phase units, so they're not really, they don't hardly count. Okay, but we're gonna have 3 main units, 3 5-ton units. If you fire those all off at once and you're charging the cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, anyway, they didn't have a problem with 600 amp service. They said, we'll sell you as much power as you want.
Well, sure. Be happy to.
They'd be happy to, yeah. And it's interesting though, because the electric rate that the company, that the SRP has here, Salt River Project is the name of the power company, and they have a generator rate. So if you got solar panels and you're generating power and selling it back to them, this is how they get around the parity, right? They will buy the power back from you at the same price that you pay. But what they've done is they lowered the price to 3 cents a kilowatt hour, and then they charge you a demand charge for the amount of power you take out at any one time, not power, not energy, right? Well, so what it means is between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m., you can't run your air conditioner unless you want to pay a huge, big demand charge. And of course, they don't give you the demand charge back when you supply them with a lot of power. It's only one way. And they lowered the per kilowatt hour charge so low that you're not going to make a whole lot of money selling back the power to them. But the beauty of it is it's 3 cents a kilowatt hour for the remaining 18 hours. I could cool my garage to 60 degrees when it's 120 out for almost nothing. So
Well, there are systems where you'll have a tank of water in the ground, with 20,000 gallons of water, and you chill that when you've got cheap rates. And then you use that as your pool of cold when you do your AC during peak hours. So that's a workable solution.
Well, one of the things that we do here in this house is we have enough insulation added, and my contractor claims that the new house is going to be at least as good as what we have. I blew a whole bunch of extra insulation in the attic here, and we just turned the air conditioners off. When it's 112 degrees out, hottest days of the year, it goes up. When you turn the air conditioner off for 6 hours in the afternoon, it goes up about 3 degrees inside. Easily manageable. So what we do is we pre-cool it 2 degrees, and then we let it go up 3 degrees, and then it gets a little warmer at the end, but it's not enough to bother you. And we've cut our electric bill more than in half. We pay about between 30 and 40% of what we paid before we started doing this. And we put in smart thermostats that just set the temperature up to 95 for the 6 hours, and the air conditioners don't come on. We have 2 of them. And we used to have almost $600 utility bills in the summer here in this house, a 3,000 square foot house. And now we don't see anything over about 2.5. So let's just hope that I got enough insulation in the new place to do that.
Did you have them put in 2x6s in the walls so you can have 6 inches of insulation in the walls?
I'm not sure if he's doing that or not. I have to ask him. But I know that the ceiling trusses are about 2 feet deep, and they're going to use foam insulation in that. So we got a huge big area to put insulation in, plus the trapped air, which does a lot. The air actually insulates better than the insulation if you can trap it. You don't let it circulate. It'll work fine. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And the other thing I was thinking was that since we're going to air condition the garage, which is kind of odd, but he did it to his place, and he says once you have an air conditioned garage or workshop, you'll wonder why you took that long to do that. So I was thinking I could use a solar system without very many batteries to run an air conditioner and use the cool air of the garage as my storage. So when it's sunny and hot out, that's the time you need the most AC, right? Just run the air conditioner open, all full bore, all the time the panels are providing power. And then when the evening comes, nighttime, you just shut it off. And I don't know, maybe you end up with a meat locker, you know, with 40 degrees inside. I don't know. I don't know how many batteries you need. It's just going to be a toy project when I get into the new place to see if I can make something work like that.
Yeah, I'm talking about the thick walls. My buddy built a house in Fairhope, Alabama, which is near Mobile, where you could be subject to getting a hit from a hurricane. And he said it it paid him because it reduced his insurance cost a lot to build the house like a fortress. You got 2x6s in the walls and 2x12s in the attic, and everything is held together with bolts, no nails, Uden construction, all bolts and screws.
Wow.
And he put he had the whole yard dug up and had piping installed so that he gets all of his heating and cooling out of the ground. So he's got very little by the way of energy bills. Plus the house is triple pane glass, triple pane tempered glass. So it's supposed to be able to withstand a category 5 hurricane direct hit. The house is certified for that.
Wow. So
which
is it
on the Gulf Coast is a big deal because standing in the neighborhood after direct.
Your mic just cut out.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean it's flaky internet. So, but anyway, that's.
So has he had
do that?
Has he had any big hits since he put the house together?
No.
Of course not.
A couple of close calls. I mean, they've had some tornadoes. No, I mean, they've had some hurricanes go through that were close to that, but not an F5.
That's like carrying an umbrella so it won't rain.
Right. So his neighbor should get a reduction in insurance too, because his house is there and it's diverting the
right. He's under the cone of protection.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because in Arizona here in Phoenix, we actually have so much asphalt and concrete now in the city proper. The storms come in from the monsoon storms come in from the southeast and they split and go around Phoenix. I mean, you could watch them. They come and you're looking like, oh my God, we're going to get creamed. It's coming right at us. And it just goes like this around. And it is weird. And remember, I guess Dave's left, but that first year of Hamvention, when the storm came up, it did the same thing to the county fairgrounds in Ohio. It looked like we were going to get just nailed, and it just went around and there was blue sky where the storm clouds were.
Yeah, this is reminding me about when we were in Norway for a rocket shot on the island of Andøya. We got hurricane force winds from a winter storm.
Wow.
And they, here, the roofs would be flying off, trees falling down, everything. And up there it says, no big deal. We build our houses for it. They regularly get those kind of winds, so they just build for it.
Yeah. Trouble is, it costs a lot more money to do that.
Yeah, but they've probably been there a while too.
So Bill, how much more did your friend's house cost when he did all that than if he had just done it regular?
Well, I don't remember him ever telling me any specific numbers, but he sat down with his insurance people and he found out it was going to be about the same amount of money if you put the house payment and the insurance payment together. It was going to be about the same money. It made so much difference in the reduced insurance that the reduced insurance covered the additional mortgage cost.
Oh, probably would not do that here because we don't get storms like that. So
yeah, I mean, when you're subject to being hit with category 4 and 5 hurricanes, your insurance rates are astronomical. So ask the people in Florida, there's people who have houses standing because they were built to those modern standards, and everything else in the neighborhood is gone.
Yeah.
Just look at the news.
A friend of mine from high school lives in Fort Myers, and he got direct hit this past hurricane. He said the worst, that his house is a relatively new one, and the requirements were that everything has to be at least 9 feet above sea level, the floor. And he says that saved him because he got about a foot of water in his garage, which was 2 feet lower, and that was it. He weathered the storm, and he was right
Yeah.
on the path.
Interesting. That's just about right because they got a 7 point something storm surge.
Well, he was saying they were listening on the radio. Their power went out. He's listening on the radio, and they said, "Well, the storm surge was first it was 6 feet, then it was 8 feet, then it was 12 feet, then it was 18 feet." And he's going like, "Oh my God, that's higher than we are above sea level. We're going to get creamed." And it turned out he said they had to have a picture window that is hurricane rated, and they're sitting behind the picture window watching. And I'm going like, I don't know, I don't stand behind any glass when Category 5 winds are blowing outside. But they said they watched the wind going and everything, and they noticed it was kind of going around the house, and they went out in the back, which is where the garage was, and it was lower, and they had water problems back there. But nothing like the people when that guy on the news was swimming through his living room. I mean, you
Yeah.
remember seeing that? It was
Yeah, it
awful.
was south of there. They got up to, I think, 16-foot storm surge.
Yeah, because the onshore winds were
Right.
tremendous.
It
Yeah,
went a little further south than the original prediction.
yeah. If it had gone
Fort
north of
Myers
Fort Myers,
did
Fort
better,
Myers
though.
would've-
I know someone who did get water in the house.
They said there was a trailer park that was an old time place that was built about at sea level. He says it's gone now. It's completely
Right.
washed away. Everything is, there's sticks left. That's it. So, ugh. I live in Arizona. We don't get anything like that here. We get hot. That's it.
Yeah. I live in New Hampshire. We get little disasters.
Little disasters.
We get little hurricanes, little tornadoes, little
You
earthquakes.
get the spent remnants of what came, what hit Virginia.
Yeah. Though sometimes we get a lot of rain. Of course, Irene some years ago now hit Vermont very hard, but it's the rarity, thankfully.
Yeah.
Hopefully it stays rare, but I'm not sure it's going to. Anyway, I gotta say 73.
This is Rag Chew. I need to get out of here, but enjoyed it. 73.
Okay, I'll send you out.
73.
I'll send you
73.
out kit, Bill. You're good in the call book, right? Or QRZ?
Yes, yes. You've
Okay.
sent me stuff
Yeah,
before
and
it got here, so I'll test with that immediately as soon as I get it.
Okay,
Thank
And I'd
you.
like to
73.
try one out for you, Scotty.
okay.
And give you feedback. Oh, also, do you have the adapter card set up yet
The
for
adapter.
the FPGA eval boards,
I have
for the
the,
Max 10 stuff?
Yeah,
Yes.
he just sent them out. So
Okay.
yeah, if David, if you want one, Scotty, we should send David one.
Yeah, I've got one of the eval boards.
you have the DK board?
Yeah, I'm one of the 11 that has one.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely
It's
support.
like the
David
Manson gang, one of the 11
getting one.
or something.
You're right. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, and you're good in QRZ, right?
Yes.
Okay. And they'll have to wade through the snow to bring it to you?
We'll let the post office do that.
Okay.
Rain or snow or dead of night.
Speaking of dead of night, I think it's time to say 73
Indeed.
and good Reg Chew, and look for your board, Kong. I'll send you the tracking number.
I will. Thank you.
And Jonathan, we can just meet here since everyone else is going away.
Later.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thanks.
73.
73,
73.
everybody.
73.
73.
I'm still